Russian troops reportedly executed at least 5 Ukrainian prisoners of war. A video of what appears to be the killing of unarmed Ukrainian soldiers captured by Moscow forces started circulating on social media. The Ukrainian Parliament Commissioner for Human Rights, Dmitry Lubinets, has already sent letters to the UN and the ICRC to ensure that this war crime is documented. The Ukrainian volunteer and activist Serhiy Stronenko reported that this incident allegedly took place in the village of Kazachya Loknya in Russia's Kursk region. According to him, Ukrainian units were blocked and cut off from the main forces for about 1 week. Kremlin leader Vladimir Putin declared that Ukrainian prisoners of war captured in the Kursk region would be treated as terrorists under Russian law. Putin visited the region for the first time since Ukraine launched an operation in the area. Dressed in a military uniform, he reportedly arrived at a command post where he heard reports from the Russian General Staff Chief, who in particular discussed captured Ukrainian PoWs. U.S. officials are heading to Moscow to discuss the American-Ukrainian agreement on a 30-day ceasefire. This was stated by President Trump. Speaking with journalists in the Oval Office, Trump reported that it's now up to Russia to agree or not.
It's up to Russia now, but we've had a good relationship with both parties, actually, and we'll see. We'll be knowing people are going to Russia right now as we speak, and hopefully we can get a ceasefire from Russia. And if we do, I think that would be 80% of the way to getting this horrible bloodbath.
Trump didn't answer the question if he will have a scheduled conversation with the Kremlin leader, but stated that he received some positive messages. When asked whether the U.S. could apply pressure on Russia, Trump acknowledged the possibility.
I hope it's not going to be necessary. Sure, we can pressure. We can do that with Russia.
Ukrainian forces repelled multiple Russian assault attempts in the Kursk direction, as Russian forces try to break through Ukrainian lines. This was reported by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Oleksandr Syrsky. The statement, published on his Telegram channel on March 12th, says that active combat is ongoing, particularly in the areas surrounding the city of Sudzha, where Russia has deployed airborne assault units and special operations forces, but continues to suffer heavy casualties. Syrsky stressed that since the beginning of the Kursk operation on August 6, 2024, Russian losses have reportedly exceeded 54,900 troops, with more than 22,000 soldiers killed. Moscow also lost 2,100 pieces of military equipment. The commander-in-chief reported that Russian aviation has carried out an unprecedented number of strikes on the territory of its own region, almost completely destroying the settlement of Sudzha. Russia's Saratov region was attacked by drones, reported the head of the Center for Countering Disinformation, Andriy Kovalenko. On his Telegram page, he reported that the region plays a key role in the country's gas transportation system. It is also home to the Saratov oil refinery, which has a processing capacity of approximately 7 million tons of crude oil per year and produces aviation fuel, diesel, and lubricants essential for military equipment. A new 28th military aid package for Ukraine was announced by Finland. It is worth about 200 million euros, according to a statement by the Finnish Defense Ministry. The new support was announced by the country's Minister of Defense, Antti Hakonen, during a meeting with his Ukrainian counterpart, Rustem Umerov. The package now has to be approved by the Finnish government and the president. Details of the new aid remain undisclosed. However, according to Hakonen, it will include artillery ammunition, among other things. Ukrainian Marines repelled Russian and North Korean assaults in the border area of the Sumy region. A video was released on the Telegram channel of the 36th Separate Marine Brigade. Ukrainian Pravda Media, citing sources from the brigade, reported that the footage shows a section of road between Sverdlikova in Russia's Kursk region and Novinke in Ukraine's Sumy region. Over a 24-hour period, Russia lost more than 30 soldiers, both killed and wounded. Additionally, Ukrainian defenders destroyed 7 vehicles. The UK and France are leading discussions between 37 countries in a coalition of the willing to help protect Ukraine from the prospect of further Russian aggression if a peace settlement is agreed. This was reported by Bloomberg. According to the journalist, the coalition may include countries from Europe, the Commonwealth of Nations, and Asia, contributing financial assistance, troops, aircraft, or naval vessels. On Wednesday, defense ministers of Europe's 5 main military powers gathered for talks in Paris to discuss the strengthening of the European defense and security guarantees for Ukraine.
The UK and France are jointly leading work on plans to drive the push for peace and drive the arrangements for security guarantees for Ukraine. We're doing this work together. We're cooperating closely with partner nations, and we're looking to build a coalition of the willing from Europe and beyond. And from today, we are accelerating that work.
While Moscow demands that Ukraine's military be massively scaled back as part of any settlement, the French defense minister stated that a broad consensus was emerging that the first security guarantee for Ukraine is the Ukrainian army itself. He also added that around a dozen countries are interested in discussing a new security architecture for Ukraine. The European defense ministers will meet again next week to continue discussions on military planning if there's a settlement, said UK Defense Secretary John Healey. The Kremlin is not interested in a temporary ceasefire in Ukraine, stated Russian presidential aide Yuri Ushakov. In an interview with Russian state TV, he dismissed ceasefire proposals as merely giving Ukrainian forces a chance to regroup. Instead, according to him, Moscow is seeking a long-term resolution. At the same time, the head of the Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation, Andriy Kovalenko, stated that Ushakov's words are not an official refusal from Russia, as Putin is the one who makes the decisions. He added that Ushakov is using manipulation to demonstrate that Russia allegedly still wants peace and that a ceasefire is not the way to peace. Ukraine has received about $1.7 billion from Canada as part of the G7 Extraordinary Revenue Acceleration Initiative, which provides Ukraine with finances from the proceeds of frozen Russian assets. This was reported by the Ukrainian Prime Minister, Denis Shmyhal, adding that the funds will be used for the priority needs of the Ukrainian budget. He noted that this is the first Canadian tranche, with Ottawa having allocated a total of nearly $3.5 billion for the program. According to the Ukrainian Ministry of Finances, the loan is provided for 30 years. The ERA mechanism provides Ukraine with a total of approximately $50 billion in loans, which will be repaid and serviced by the future revenues received from immobilized Russian sovereign assets. The lack of response from Russia to the ceasefire proposal indicates its intent to continue the war, stated President Zelensky. Following a report from the Ukrainian delegation on the meeting with U.S. representatives in Saudi Arabia, he posted on Telegram that more than a day has passed without a substantive response from Russia regarding the proposal put forward. Zelensky emphasized that this once again confirms that Russia seeks to prolong the war and will attempt to delay peace for as long as possible, added that Kyiv hopes U.S. pressure will be sufficient to compel Russia to end the war. The Ukrainian president stressed that Ukraine is committed to a swift path to peace and is ready to do its part to create the conditions for a stable, lasting, and just peace.